Rackz and Name, and you guys are free to start at any time. However, they have to select fighters that they actually have downloaded. But we're looking at Thomas Hearns here, but we're looking at Roberto Duran. He looks locked. We saw Roberto Duran earlier, but here we go, Pressy, getting right into it. Roberto Duran versus Hearns. What do we know about these two fighters?
Well, right off the bat, Thomas, the hitman Hearns, he's got those long limbs, those long levers, or those jabs, I like to call them levers. I mean, wow. Look at the height and reach difference there between the two boxers. I mean, this is all down to see if Duran can get on the inside there and land the significant strikes. And look at that, that is a very, very nice record. And I believe that was that Nang? Was that Nang's record? I believe that was Nang's record.
Yeah, I think that's Nang's record.
Very, very good stuff here.
Yeah, so like you said, you mentioned that height. So we looking at Thomas Hearns he's 6'1", Pressy, 160 pounds. So I mean, that's a big boy, and I'm hearing it from the OGs time and time again. Inside of these divisions, you also got to look at the weight range. You can't. It's going to take. Talk to us about what happens whenever you have a little guy in middleweight versus somebody that's 160 in that middleweight division, like Thomas Hearns, especially with that reach and that height of 6'1".
You just said it. Other than the obvious, with the eyesight, the height and reach, the actual build, the punching power, you rarely feel the impact on them. There is a difference, and that's why they say in boxing there are weight classes for a reason, and that is the reason. Referee reading both fighters their instructions. And it's time to go. They do touch gloves. Who have you got for this one, boxer?
Oh man, both Name and Rackz, they got so much experience, and I'm just so glad just to bring high-level fight night champions gameplay to the community, because we're getting ready to start seeing fight night being played at the highest level. So we got Name right there is in Thomas Hearns, if I'm not believing, and then we got Rackz as Roberto Duran. Is that correct? So if that's the case here, I want to see, how do you use that reach of Thomas Hearns at 6'1", but with Roberto Duran with all of that power? Can you get on the inside and start landing your shots of your own? Now,
without a doubt, boxer. Without a doubt. But if I'm using Hearns, I'm going to mix up those jabs. So I'm going to use that power modifier and really stick in those stiff jabs to frustrate and stop Duran in his tracks from trying to get on the inside here. But again, if Rackz can find the timing, the head movement, the bobbing and weaving, I mean, he's on the inside. He just got to mix up those lefts up top and hooks to the body as well, but just take his time, have fun with it. And I mean, to be honest, when you have someone coming to you in which Nang is doing, Nang's not Rackz, which Rackz is actually stepping to Nang. It makes your life that whole load easier from trying to, so you don't actually have to fight, to work or kind of hustle yourself to try and get on the inside. Rackz is already there.
Yeah, exactly. Now, with Hearns, one of his power punches here is that straight to the head. It is that right hook. Both of those are 20 out of 20. Now, when you go down low with Hearns, you're going to have a significant drop off in that power, because his power, when he go down to the body with all of his punches, is under 10. Left hook to the body, 8. Right hook to the body is a 9. Left uppercut, right uppercut, both 7 and 8 respectively. So those shots are really kind of setup shots, to go upstairs. So that's one thing. If I'm Rackz, I'm looking, anytime that Hearns go to the body, I'm not going to be as concerned, but I'm going to be more concerned if he's landing those shots upstairs. But yeah, Pressy, I want to see how you use this distance here with Hearns, because you are so much bigger, and I want to see if this plays dividends. But these are some huge counter punches here coming out here, landing by Hearns and Name, doing a good job so far.
Yes, Boxer. I mean, again, I don't think Rackz is there to be found, but what he's doing is he's rolling on the inside and rolling back on the outside. So when it comes, you know, he's evading the punches, but I feel like he's smothering his own punches. He's not using the range to find that momentum and power and use those hips and turn that shoulder to get that power and momentum in there. He's actually smothering his punches. So let's see what happens. It's only round 2. I do believe he's run round 1. I do believe this is a closer round, maybe edging it to 9. But Rackz here, again, I would have thought he would have been boxing at range, but he's not. He's rarely here. He's on the back foot slightly, but he's there. He's there to be found. He's actually mixing up to the body as well.
Yeah, exactly. Doing a good job right there. Roberto Duran, like, I really want to see if Rackz can use a lot of that power in that right hand of Roberto Duran and get inside and just land a lot of those body shots. You want to work on that stamina there. The stamina and the endurance of Thomas Hearns is still very good. Endurance is 94, conditioning is 97, so it's no slouch. He definitely can go the distance. And one of the more weaker things is his cut. Cut is just an 81. So if you want to try to like open up one of those cuts and then continue to do damage, but look at that stamina. That stamina is almost still all the way up there to 100%. I think Pressy still going into the 3rd round there. We're getting ready to see the scorecards at any point. Who do you think is up so far in this fight?
I've given round 1 to Rackz, but round 2 could be you could either tip it either way. You could give it a draw. It's still early doors, but a nice counter. Nice, stiff, clean counter down the pipe there by Nang, which, could be telling us something. Could he be finding his rhythm here after after a very close first 2 rounds opener here, Boxer?
Yeah. Let me make a correction. This is Rackz that's using Thomas Hearns. So Nang is using Roberto Duran. So Rackz doing a good job right now.
That straight left down the pipe, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean these 1-2s, and look, going down low. Now, even though the body shots coming out from Hearns is not as powerful, you definitely can't take any of these counter shots, because anytime you see that screen flash, you see that screen shake, you see it swing, that means that somebody's counter punch and land a huge devastating punch. That's a nice lead uppercut there coming out from Rackz with Thomas Hearns. What do you got to do, Pressy, if you're named and to get inside with Duran?
To get on the inside, I'll be just trying to shoulder roll myself in, or trying to sidestep a punch from Rackz and try to come inside and get that counter to the body. But I'm noticing here, Nang's doing the opposite. He's on so as you see there, he's toe to toe, right? But he takes these slight steps back, like he's doing now, to get Rackz to whiff a punch, and then he counters. So instead of him coming in, trying to roll underneath or slip a punch and counter, he was making Rackz come to him, all short of the punch and counter himself. Good, strong closing there by Nang. I've got to give that round to Nang. It's at most very good, strong round, and I think it's very hard. I still can't determine who I've given round 2 to, but so far, round 1 to Rackz, round 3 to Nang. Round 2 is up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing with Duran that Hearns does not have is, and look at the scorecards, Pressy, close. Yeah, 2 rounds there to Duran, and then 1 round there to Rackz. So Nang is up right now.
That last round, very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Now, one thing about Roberto Duran, unlike Hearns, he has power on those body shots, and he has power upstairs. So more of a well-rounded fighter. So you have more options to be a lot more damaging with Roberto Duran, a lot more effective with your punches. So right now, it seems like Rackz is already feeling a lot of that pressure. He looks like he's putting on that pressure because he knows he's down in the scorecards. Still a lot of time left, but right now, Nang and Roberto Duran just doing a really good job of staying composed, fighting real tight, and whenever you do close that distance and you get on the inside, he's able to bang that drum pressy, like you said earlier, and do a lot of damage there with all of that power of Roberto Duran.
I like what he just tried to do there. So he'd step in range, come with a shot to the body, sidestep to his left, just pivot and change the angles on Rackz. So what he did right there was come into the pocket, body shot, step to the left, change the angle, and then hopefully by the time whilst I'm changing the angle, Rackz will fire, get him to whiff, and time to make him pay. But Rackz isn't firing. He's not falling for it. He's just taking his time. He's doing to what he was doing already. But I think if it doesn't pay dividends, he's got to change up the game plan. He's got to go to plan B, plan C if necessary.
Yeah, and like you said, that's one real important thing about boxing is using your strikes to set up that counter. So when you step in and you throw your strikes and then you change angles and then you get that camera shape, you get that camera swing and you're able to land that counter right after that. That's when you're really using that sweet science of boxing. And that's what I'm seeing right now with Nang. He's able to set up those counters and he's doing it real effective right now. But let's say you're Rackz. You have the bigger fighter. You have the reach advantage. He says he's good at fighting, on the outside. What do you do to turn this fight around and use some of the tools that Hearns has to keep Nang at bay?
Well, it's not too late because I haven't been dropped. It's round 5. Now is the time. If I'm gonna take a game plan, you really can't play with fire here. You gotta switch that game plan now because you're halfway into the fight. You're getting halfway into the fight. So if I wanted to, can box off of the back foot, I'm gonna have to maybe try find a stun or a wobble, or maybe even a knockdown at some point. But after that, it's gonna be box and move, and that's how you should be using Hearn. He's actually trying to stand it. He's actually using Hearn as more of a Duran kind of thing, standing in the pocket. But if anything, I'm gonna try and land the punches. I've still got time to win this fight on points, I believe. He's still got plenty of time to win the fight on points. It's not like he needs to find a knockdown right now. But if anything, if I'm gonna find the points decision victory or aim for that, then now is the time to switch things up, boxer.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you switch things up, like you said, look, we got a clinch right there. What I've seen a couple of whiffs, but not too many coming out from Nang. But if you can stay on the outside, because
we're back.
All right, we're back. Okay, yeah, had a little glitch, but we're back. That happens in the eSports, and we'll learn how to deal with it. But like we were saying, we want to stay on the outside if you're Rackz and you're using Hearns. Hearns has that long reach, and so Pressy, I've seen it where they're staying on the outside, and he can make Duran miss. He can make Duran whiff, but he has to stay on that outside. He can't come in that Roberto Duran range because then you're not using the tools that makes Thomas Hearns the most effective. But it's more easier said than done, right? Because Nang is really effective and walking down Hearns right now, but you gotta stay on the outside and land those power punches upstairs.
He's got to stand on the outside, and not only that, I haven't seen a stiff, not a single stiff jab from him yet, just to try and keep. Oh, look, and there, he's just got to stay composed. I mean, he's just in a bit of hotter spot over here. Don't think he's gonna hit the deck. He's got plenty of time to find him, to get him hurt here again. But for Rackz, what I'm gonna have to do is stay far on the outside and get Nang to overreach with his shots and then step back straight left or right down the pipe, straight right orthodox, straight left southpaw down the pipe, and there's only so many of them that Nang can take on the chin before he gets put to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Now, because that power of Roberto Duran, he definitely has those 20s, and you can't take too many of those because you're going to have a short fight. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Nang is still up in this fight, and he has the fight in control. You know, you're going to have to let those hands go at some point if you're Rackz. But Nang just doing a great job here of using Roberto Duran and staying tight, staying in that pocket, landing some huge counter shots, Pressy, over and over here. His name is really showing a huge boxing IQ against a very strong Rackz. Rackz, no slouch in his own regard here. But I just like the in and out here that Nang is doing here with Roberto Duran. Even though that he doesn't have the reach advantage, he's still able to find his target. He's still able to find his mark.
Absolutely, and that's because Rackz is giving it to him. He's giving him the range. He's giving him the target to hit. But I do like what Nang did at the end of the round there. I think in the last 10 seconds, he landed a good combination counter, a good combo, come out of range, came back in with a counter, and I think that frustrated Rackz ever so slightly because he started mixing it up. There was 10 seconds left, and I think he just wanted to come forward. I think he lost a bit of his composure there and just started mixing it up for no unnecessary there. He could have been caught trying to play with fire by Nang, but again, we're into round 7, and it looks like it's time for plan C, D, E, all the way to Z for Rackz. He's again no slouch. He can find that extraordinary emphatic KO. He can find a few knockdowns and even get the points win. But it's time to start cycling through the game plans here, Boxer.
Yeah, definitely. You got at some point you got to let the hands go, and then just and throw everything to the side and just start fighting to see what happens, because you never know what can happen. But you got to be careful. Now with Roberto Duran, a lot of times in these last rounds here, 7, 8, 9, that's when the conditioning, that's when the endurance starts to kick in. And Roberto Duran, no slouch in that department. Endurance 96, conditioning 93, so he can go the distance here with no problem. Again, I'm seeing whips, but Nang did not take advantage of it right there. But man, Nang has nothing to worry about. It's Rackz the one that has to push the pace. It's Rackz the one that has to change up his game plan and find a new way right here. But Rackz is staying a lot composed also. Just got to find a way to land those shots upstairs. That's one thing with Hearns. He's not that great at the body shots. But Press, we see some huge counter shots here. And man, they can't keep exchanging those. Somebody can go down to
right uppercuts by Nang, and then a third hook, and then the third being an absolute banger of a left hook there. Looks like he's trying to put his statement on in this fight now and start cycling through the gears here in Nang.
Yeah, man. So now, if you're Nang, what do? You got this fight going your way. You don't want to lose it. Things can change, momentum can swing. We don't know. We saw at the end there, it seemed like Rackz he may have found something, Pressy, and that's the thing. These fights are long enough to where if you find another game plan, all right, we see a couple of rounds there to Hearns, but it seems like Nang is still in control. So whatever you did in those rounds, you gotta find it again, because you was able to get a couple of rounds in the bag, so you have what it takes to do it. But you gotta do it now, because there's not that many rounds left.
Not that many rounds left, but plenty of stamina to throw a lot of punches in those few rounds. And it looks like he's coming to throw those bombs. You see these punches that he's throwing here, Boxer?
Yeah. These are
huge haymakers that Thomas Hearns Rackz is missing. He's loading up those power punches, those rear uppercuts to the body, but he's missing them. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to get countered. 1 minute and 35 seconds left into round 8 here.
Oh,
what a view here for the referee. Close up on the devastating counters. A nice right hook up top. Again, it looks like Rackz in a slight bit of frustration here, trying to come forward, toe-to-toe phone booth, trying to land something significant on Nang. Nang just keeping his guard up, nice and tight, doing what he's been doing, that's been giving him the rounds, trying to land body shots when he can, and a nice uppercut and steps out of range there by Nang, just leaving Rackz to whiff his punches.
Yeah, and so Thomas Hearns here, the power punch to look out for is that right hand. But look, he always getting that. He got that right power shot countered, and Nang is making him pay. I mean, you can't just throw it out there. You got to dress it up with a jab, and then maybe throw it. Maybe do something like Young Pro, switch up stances here. But right now, man, Nang is able to get whatever punch he wants, whenever he wants, just really doing a good job. I mean, man, we seeing a masterclass performance here by both of these fighters. High IQ fight again. Pressy couldn't ask for anything better. This is a very technical fight.
Technical, exciting, the anticipation, the electricity, the IQ, the fire, the art these guys bring to the ring. And in this tournament, I mean, it's absolutely mental, Boxer. And I believe we are going into round 9. Got both guys switch stance right on the belt.
Yeah.
I believe Nang did switch back. Both guys trading hook for hook, uppercut for uppercut, right in the middle of the ring. A good, swift left uppercut there for Rackz. Now just trying to lean to his left and find that straight right down the pipe, Boxer, but doesn't find it. Oh, he's over. Is he going to get up from that? Shooting up, left hook, puts him out. Is he all right here, Boxer?
I don't know, man. I looked up.
The verdict's on this one.
Wow, man, Hearns down on the canvas. Can he get up? And that's it, Pressy. They waved it off.
One punch knockout. No count from the referee. What a punch by Nang.
Wow. That's exactly why a lot of the OGs told me. They was like, watch out for that power from Roberto Duran. It is nothing to be played with. That, like you say, Pressy, that one punch knockout power can end the night early.
And it was a round he was winning, Boxer.
In a round with Roberto Duran. Wow, Pressy.
Insane. It just looked like when he was trying to turn up the heat and cause him some problems here, bang, just walks into a brick wall and it's bedtime. Not even a count from the referee. His head hit the canvas hard. His eyes rolled back to the back of his head. There was no need for a count. It was all over.
Wow, man. So Pressy, that was a very entertaining fight. What it's doing is showing you the level and what you have to be anytime you step into the EBL and you're fighting these fighters. These fighters that I'm already seeing from our first 3 fights, they already know what they're doing. They already are fighting at that level. This right here, I already see. This is going to be the best of the best. And between those fighters, that's what we saw. These are some of the OGs, Nang versus Rackz. They know each other. These are some of the best guys in the fight night community. So you're seeing fights at the highest level right there. And a lot of times you can't just come out and just take your opponent out. You have to build up that game plan, and that's what we saw. We saw Roberto Duran and Nang just wear down his opponent in Rackz. And just finally, out of nowhere, you can't take those counter punches over and over and over again. And that's what happened. But Rackz, man, what a performance by Rackz. Can't wait to see Rackz back into the ring at some point. But tonight was the night of Nang. Just did a good job here. And he's moving on to the second round, Pressy.